Hi everybody, welcome to the best sales for 2025. There's a weird little delay in my filming here, so I don't know if that's going to be a problem going forward, but we'll see. We will see how it goes. Trying to find a safe place to hide that. You can't probably see it, but there's a little timer thing on my screen. Anyway, welcome. Welcome. Hope you all had a great new year. Hope you all had a good holiday. Hope you all had lots of fun and lots of family and lots of food and lots of goodness. And we baked so many cookies and did all that great stuff and fun stuff. My daughter and I and my daughter-in-law and my daughter-in-law's mom, and we had such a nice time. It was really lovely. And now it's Girl Scout cookie time, and my girlfriend's two granddaughters are selling cookies, and I'm like, oh gosh, the last thing in the whole wide world that I want is more cookies right now. So, but I never, like, I did Girl Scouts for like 13 years, and I always used to hear people like, oh no, I don't want more Girl Scouts, I don't want more cookies, and I didn't, who doesn't want a Girl Scout cookie? I get it this year. Get it this year. I'm so cookied out right now. But we will buy some, put them in the freezer, because certainly there will be a cookie need later on at some point. Certainly. So anyway, we're going to do this a little differently. I did a PowerPoint kind of thing. We'll see how that goes. And we'll see if I can make it work right. I might not. I'm not sure. You never know how this will work, but we're going to give it a go. Anyway, hey. All right, so I need to move me a little bit. Where can I move me? I'll move me over here. Move me over here. That way we can see the important stuff over here. Anyway, this starting with the lowest sale, and I started in the $50 like range, because I had a lot in like the high 40s, 50s, and then we went up into like the 80s, hundreds, over 100. But I didn't have anything that was like thousands of dollars. I always love to watch bolo videos. I know that Courtney is Bolo Buddies, and she does a lot of bolo videos, and like people will sell things for hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars. And thus far, I haven't found anything worth quite that much money. And although there's lots of those things that can go for sale, some of those things will sell very quickly for you. Some of those things you'll hold on to a long time, because it's just a lot of money and people don't have the money just to throw at it all the time. And it's okay. But what I decided to do on this that I do a little differently, I'm putting on here what they paid for it, what I paid for it, what my net profit was after YouTube fees and shipping and all that good stuff. Generally, the customer pays the shipping. There's one item on here you'll see that Debbie made a boo-boo on the shipping price that I charged on the item. And I don't know what I was thinking. I probably wasn't thinking very clearly about it. And initially it was boxed, and it was like, I think I charged $7 and it was like 25, because it just was big. It didn't weigh a lot, but it was big. And I told my husband, you got to get it into a 12 cube. You can't, it's got to go into a 12 cube. And it was plush, so it could squish a little. And we got it in a 12 cube, but then one side of it burst out, and he had to tape the whole box up. But it arrived, and it was safe and sound, and it's good. But it still ended up costing me probably double what I charged. So it ate into the what I made as a net profit. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But so mistakes were made, and there's some mistakes were made, and there's other times mistakes weren't made, and one is better than the other. Which one of these is better than the other? Anyway, this is a jibba jabba, or a jibber jabber, depending on who you are and how you say it. It is officially a jibba jabba. It's from 1994, and it's by Ertl. And basically, his little long neck, you see his ears are like noisemakers. And when you shake his head, his neck goes and his ears make a warbly sound. And they're very cool. And their bottoms are kind of weighted, so they sit flat bottom on the ground, and they're super cute. Anyway, this one had a blue mohawk, and apparently a blue mohawk was a better one than some other ones, because the prices vary greatly. But this one sold for $47. I think I might have taken an offer, but it sold for $47. I paid $7 for it. So the net profit was $34.16 after fees and everything. And it did sell in 25 days at that price. So I maybe could have priced it a little higher, but it would have taken longer to sell. So, and I did get it right before, like in the holiday season, so it went quickly, which was good. It's always good when it goes quickly. So this is a multicolored hematite beaded necklace. It was a wrap. It could be a lanyard. You could wrap it a couple times. It was magnetic. Hematite is magnetic, in case you didn't know. So it was just like a long string that's magnetic together. And it sold in 4 months. It sold for $49.50. I paid $2.50 for it, so my net profit was $42.63. This is a Cloud Island bunny rabbit lovey, and it was bigger. It was a bigger lovey. It had the minky fleece. It had polka dots on it. It had satin trim, and the just satin trim. It didn't have satin underneath. It was in awesome condition, and it sold for $49.98. I paid $3 for it, so the profit was $39.44, and it took 63 days to sell, which is nice and quick. This is a LL Bean boat and tote. Now, a lot of people know about boat and totes, the big tote bags. They sell for hundreds, sometimes more than $100. This was a little one, and I paid $1 for it, and I was stunned to find out that the little ones sell for nearly $50, sometimes a little more. If it's the blue and ivory one or the red and ivory one, I forget which one, it sells for more than $50. But the green one sells for $50, and I got $49.98 for it. Paid $1, so the profit was $41.22. And it took 40 days to sell, which is super fast, which is great. So again, I might have been able to get a little more out of it because it sold so fast. But sometimes when it sells fast, you just hit the exact right price, and yours is in better condition maybe than somebody else's, and it's all timing. It's all like, words. It's all good pictures. There's lots of things that go into it. I have sold things recently. We're going to get to it later, but recently I sold something for more than someone else who I watch in the community of YouTubers, and I thought, wow, I got almost double for it in the same time frame that she sold hers. So, and she has a way bigger follower than I do on YouTube, and I'm really surprised. Now, she did sell it on Etsy, not on eBay, and Etsy is a different group. It's a little different. So, I don't know. Etsy, maybe it was selling less. Mercari, sometimes plush sells for more. So it's all a game of, clothing sells for more generally on Poshmark than it does on eBay. It sells for less on Depop. It's all really interesting to kind of juggle around and figure things out. But it's all good. I'm going to drink coffee now. Excuse me. I started this right away to get it done today and get it listed and up on YouTube. Anyway, this is a vintage retired Thai baby. Um, the brand, the group of Thai things is called Thai Baby, and this is a fluffy within that realm of Thai. So there's fluffies, there's classics, there's Thai babies, just they're bigger, kind of curved body plushes. I don't think I have any of those in this sold. I have a couple in my inventory, but I don't have any, I don't think, that's sold. So they're retired. So this one was a little bear, and it was pink, and it was super cute, still has his tag, and it's sold for $49.99. I paid $2.49 for it. My profit's $40.20, and it took 5 months to sell. This is a Sherilyn Kenyon Dark Hunter plush husky. This was just in one of my videos I did recently, but this is just a little husky dog. It had all its tags. It had its little kerchief on. It was in brand new condition, and it was apparently very rare. This was something to do with a book series, I believe, and it had kind of a great following, and it was very sought after, apparently, because it took 45 days to sell. It sold for $50. I paid 50 cents for it, so the profit was $41.44. This is a Roosevelt shirt. Roosevelt's is spelled RSVLTS on the tag. It is a Star Wars shirt. That's what all this little design is. It's called the Grand Moff Couch. I don't know. It was an extra large, you know. Their Cunaflex is the kind of fabric. It has an all over print, which is almost, I think that's all of Roosevelt's kind of stuff, but they all have different themes and they're kind of wild and they're like the camp shirt, casual, short sleeve. But they all sell for good money and they usually sell pretty fast, as this one did. It took 22 days to sell. It sold at $50. I paid $3 for it, and the net profit was $40.15. So this is another tie. This is a tie classics, and this is the dog I'm talking about. So if you haven't watched Rebel Reseller, you should watch her. She's really knowledgeable if you like stuffed animals, far more than I am. And she had the same exact dog that she sold, and the same size too, I believe. And mine was small. It was little. It was like a little bigger than a Beanie Baby, but still small. And it was from 1998. I put like lay flat, tie classic baby, patches, the whole nine, all the words. And I looked it up and I saw that it had sold for in the $50 range. And that was good. So I listed it for $50 and it sold in 6 months. I paid 40 cents for it, so my net profit was $41.56. I believe she sold hers for like 27.95 or something, which is still great money for something, especially if she got at the bins. I got, she has a few cents in it. I had a few cents in it. They're both nice profits, but I got almost double for it on eBay over what she got for it on Etsy. So just consider that. A little bit. Now, hers could have sold faster. I don't know. Like that wasn't part of what she shared. And she does a lot of research too. So she's not, there are resellers out there that don't like to research. They tend to just wing it and lower their price and lower their price and lower their price till it sells. And I don't tell anybody how to do their business, but that's just not how I do my business. So it's okay. Everybody gets to do it their own way. And some people will just take out any offer that they get as long as they're making profit. And I take offers and I send offers and I'm willing to negotiate with reasonable offers. But some people's offers are way, way low. And if you're sending me like a 60%, like I have stuff on, I have some clothing on sale right now, and I got an offer yesterday for more than half off of what it would be listed for, and it's already 33% off. And that's beyond my normal where I would send out offers, because I try to price it right and not be overpriced so that I have that kind of wiggle room. But usually I do have in that area, like 25% is usually around. So these are 33 because I've had them a little while and I am trying to move things out of my clothing inventory. Clothing's not my favorite, but I can't give it away, and because that's counter to anything that would be a business model. And if I'm going to give it away, it would be donated. It wouldn't, I'm not going to sell it and ship it and lose money on eBay, because that's just silly. Because I'm still going to get charged all the fees. So I will come back with a counter offer. Accept it, don't accept it. It's fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings. And if it's just ridiculously low, like 80% off what I have it listed for, I just decline, because it's obvious that I don't need to explain why. Like if I have it listed for $100 and you offer me 20, I'm going to decline, and I'm not going to say anything because I don't need to. It's all there is to it. I could say things, but they probably wouldn't be really nice, and I try to be nice, so I won't say anything. My mother taught me if I couldn't say anything nice, shouldn't say anything at all, and some days that's hard. Okay. Anyway, this is an angel deer camo puppy security blanket. It had little knots on it and little nubs down the middle, as angel deer loveys do. This was a blue puppy camo, and I never saw it before. And it had wear. It wasn't new. It had been washed a few times. You can see it has some wear to it, and it still sold for $50 in 4 months. Okay, because you can't get it anymore, and apparently people like it. And if it's in decent condition, they want it. They'll pay 50 for it, which is, things that are a little bit wild to me for time to time. But anyway, I paid $1 for it. The net profit was $41.71, and I know that some little boy somewhere had lost his, and his mommy really, really needed to get him another one, and I'm glad I had it. Anyway, this is a Victoria's Secret, new with tags. It's a robe with bell sleeves. It has fur on the cuffs, sheer as you can see. It's in brand new condition. It's lovely. Um, it sold for $50. I paid $20 for it, and it was a net profit of $22.50, which is fine. The thing was, I was at Goodwill and I picked up this, and I picked up two lace peignoir, not peignoir sets, but like long nightgowns, very, very, satiny and lots of beautiful lace on the top. And I got up to the register and they were all priced like $20 each. And I was like, what? And I literally had to kind of think for a minute, do I really want to buy these? Because that was crazy expensive for Goodwill. But I looked them up really quick and said, okay, there's enough profit in it for me to buy them. And two of them have sold. I only have one left. So one of the nightgowns sold for nearly 100. So it was okay. But pajamas are never that much. So I thought nothing of it until, I was going to need to be crazy. And it did take a year to sell, but it's all right. I'll be I'm more careful now, though. I look at everything because, anyway, this is a vintage watercolor Jesus and the lamb, it's baby Jesus, and it's signed by Andrea, no last name. It's framed, it's 13 by 7.5. It is an original artwork, and it was just so cute. I couldn't stand how cute it was. Anyway, I paid 75 cents for it, and they bought it for 50, so my profit was 45.69, and it took about 16 months to sell. This is a Build-A-Bear Seasons of Hugs floral spring bear. It's hard to find. It's retired. I had it listed for 50 and it sold for 50. It took about a year to sell. I paid $2 for it, so the profit was 42.24. This is a little teeny ink drawing of a fox. It's signed Leslie. It's framed. It's just sweet. I couldn't, no more information on the artist, but it was really cute. And there was nothing really to compare it. I think I did find one at some point on Etsy similar, but I listed it for 50 and I paid 4 for it, and it did sell after about a year, and the profit was 42.77. So it wasn't fast, but it wasn't very big. I want to say it was maybe 6 inches by 6 inches, something like that, 5 inches by 5 inches. So these are Citizen of Humanity man jeans. They're 34-32. Style numbers in there. The name is Sid. They sold for $50.20. They were, I think, on sale when they sold. I paid $8 for them, so the profit was $36.76, and they did take a year to sell. These are Lori Felt embroidered jeans in a medium. These sold on Poshmark, my only sale for Poshmark for the entire year. Oh no, that's not true. I have something else that sold on Poshmark. Not for a lot of money, but I had two things I think sell on Poshmark this year. I don't sell a lot on Poshmark. I don't have anything on Mercari right now because they went through this whole thing this past year of changing their way that they did the shipping and the fees, and I just took everything down for the moment while they figured themselves out. And in the coming year, I'm going to try to get some more things cross-listed. I think I'm going to put some plush on there and on Etsy, and I'm going to put some more clothing of my more high-end stuff that I have onto Poshmark. Anyway, these sold for $51. I paid $7, and my profit after fees was $33.80. And like I said, I think I said it took 2 years to sell, just a little over 2 years. So this is that thing that was bigger than I knew how big it was. I just didn't think when I listed it. When I list, I tend to do a whole bunch of drafts, and I just set up one draft, and then I go in and I change my shippings and things like that, and change my prices and my definitions. And on this one, I apparently missed changing the shipping rate because it was the lowest shipping rate that I charge for plush. Now I usually do the medium one, so at least I won't kill myself if this happens. But this happened. So my shipping was like a whole $5 on this for whatever reason, $5.75, which is not enough money for this. But I am good to my word. If someone bought this for $5.75 shipping, this is what I'm charging them because it's not their fault. So it did take a year to sell, but this is a giant 80-inch long smiling pastel caterpillar. It's kind of, I should have put in the listing that it's frosted, but I didn't. But anyway, it's Adventure Planet. and I paid $7 for it. It sold for $52.50, but I undercharged the shipping by about $6.50. It was going to be 25 if it went in the bigger box. So it was just kind of one of those scary things. Anyway, I made $28.83 on it at the end of the day, which is still fine. Would have made more if I wasn't an idiot, but sometimes I'm an idiot, and I just have to roll with that. Um, we can't all be perfect all the time, and I will admit right now, I am not perfect. At least 10 or 15 times a day, I do the best I can. Anyway, this is a vintage wood carved Noah's Ark. It has a Noah. It has aminals inside of it. I don't know. I can't show you all the things, but it had like 5 or 6 animals inside. You can see the giraffe's head sticking out. It was very like rusticy kind of, but it was really cute. The animals and everything. It would be so fun for a little kid to play with it. So I put that it was a decoration, but it could be a toy. It was a boat, and it was for 75. It sold on an offer for $53, and because I had it about a year, and I paid 5, so I made $41.08. So this is a 6-strand faux pearl necklace with chain as well, and then it had this beautiful rhinestone pearlescent flower on the one side. I paid $2 for it, listed it for 55, and it took 6 months to sell. My profit was $43.70. So this is a Chabul sterling silver ring. Originally, I thought it was a real rutile faceted ring, and what rutile means is there's strands of gold. As you can see, they're shimmering in here, but there's strands of gold within the quartz stone. It's like a clear quartz with these gold strands in it that are just really pretty. I discovered later, now I went on the website to look it up, and it said they were real, so I listed it as real. Then someone who knows things probably more than I did called Israel, because it was made in Israel, to ask them if the rutiles that they sold were real or if they were synthetic, because she collected them and she didn't think they were real, and apparently they weren't real, and they did change it. And so she had texted me, because people have entirely more time on their hands than I do, because I would never think to look something up that someone else have listed, then contact that person and call the place it came from to find out what it was, then correct the person and tell them what it really was and tell them they could call too. And I can't imagine. But there are people out there that do have that kind of time. Now, some of these people are trying to get the price down so they'll buy it. Got it. But so I went and did some homework. Apparently, she was right. There's differences. I could tell. So I did lower the price, because I think I had it listed maybe in the 120 rate, because I paid up for this. And that was fine. It's a beautiful ring. Okay, so I listed for 55. I paid 35 for it. I bought it on Whatnot from someone that I know, because I bid it. It got bid like in the 20s, and then I had to pay shipping on it, so it was like $35 for shipping and tax and all that. So at the end of the day, I made $8.94. Yay! Hey, I didn't lose money. I'm gonna take it. Anyway, it took 20 months to sell, and all that probably took more than $8.94 worth of my time. So, yeah, live and learn. Anyway, what I don't know about jewelry is probably more than the jewelry I have to list right now. Jewelry is very time. I love jewelry, but it's so time consuming. You have to clean it. You have to look it up. You have to find the mark. You got to test it to make sure it's not silver or gold, because that affects the price and you don't want to undervalue it. Oh, you have to research the maker's marks. It's very time consuming. It can be worth your while, but 99% of what I probably have is junk or cheap or nothing special. So, you're looking for a needle in a haystack, and I'm not a big needle in a haystack kind of girl. I don't. I have too much to do. I really like plush. I do. I like it. I like art too. I like art. I like pottery. I like artistic things and snuggly things. Jewelry, less so. I know there's jewelry I like. Don't get me wrong, but it's frustrating. Anyway, this I liked. I picked up a bunch of patches, and amongst them were some Boy Scout patches. They were mostly Army, Navy, that kind of patches from World War II and Vietnam. But in there were these few little Boy Scout patches, and this one was for Susquehannock, Weshapika Chapter Lodge, and it sold for, this was the second one. I have two. I have another one coming up that sold for full price. But this one sold for 56. I paid 35 cents. This had a little bit of discoloration to the white. As you can see, it's a little yellow. So the net profit was $48.17, and it took 4 months to sell. This is a Bunnies by the Bay Princess of the Peas rabbit plush. It was still had its tags. It was number 377. It was like a special deal thing that was really pretty. I mean, it was just pretty. It had the even the little princess crown was like a metallic. It was not a heavy metallic. It would bend, but it was really, really pretty. So, and she had a satin bow. She was just cute. I found her at the Goodwill. She took 5 months to sell, and she sold for $60. I paid $7, so the net profit was $42.87. This is a Nat Nast silk shirt. It has that Tony Soprano bowling shirt vibe. It had pleats and everything. It sold for $60, and I did get a lot of lowball offers before it sold, and I just stuck it out. And it took 15 months to sell, but it sold for full price at $60. I paid $6, and the net profit was $42.79. And probably they could have got it for like a little less than that had they been reasonably asking things. But when you have something listed for like $60 or $70 and they offer you 8, 10, 12, 15, it's very like, I know what, I looked it up. I spend the time to look things up. I do. I'm not. But there are people out there that don't. So I guess it works sometimes. I don't know. There's lots of people out there just trying to like do things to undermine. There's just craziness in the world right now. Craziness. Anyway, yesterday I got something, the second thing that I got back this year that was unable to deliver. It's whoever ordered it never picked it up. So I have to do that later. And I have 3 returns out there in the ether. One hasn't opened the return but messaged me to open returns but haven't done the returns. And nobody communicates with you after they open a return to answer questions or to send you more pictures. It's just the most annoying process the way eBay has it set up right now. And if things are delivered and they're broken, then somehow it's back to me when I know I didn't break it. I know the post office broke it, but if I don't get more pictures or better pictures from the seller, I can't help them put in a claim with the post office. So I have to pay to get it back because somehow it's my fault. It just infuriates me. Anyway, and it's not my fault. So I'll deal with it when it comes back. Anyway, this is a duck house, heirloom doll, Native American, gorgeous, beaded woman. She's got feathers and fur. She sold for $60. I had her listed for more, and I had brought the price down because she wasn't moving because she took 2 years to sell. I paid $16 for her, and the profit was $34.93. And as you can see, these are terrible pictures. Some of these are older things that sold when I didn't have. I was taking pictures using one of those cardboard boards that you get for like a science show on my damask tablecloth in my dining room, which has a chandelier that has the kind of white things over the bulbs that cast this lovely orangey color over them. So got a lot of my early pictures of that, and slowly I've been going through and taking things out. I have a couple things out right now to retake pictures. Live and learn. So this took 2 years to sell, but I didn't pay for them. They belonged to my aunt. They were sold for $65, and the profit was $59.34. And these are just, excuse me, it's the sun came up. I have that. Sorry, the sun came up, so I'm going to sneeze for 5 minutes. No. Anyway, these are 8.5 Brooks Ghost Blackpink running shoes, and so that's what they are. And they were in excellent condition. She got them, and she didn't fit her right, so she just gave them to me and told me I could sell them. Anyway, these are vintage. This is a vintage cookie jar. It's a cat on a beehive. It's a Siamese cat. It's American bisque. It's retired. In the 1950s, I think it retired, actually. Oh, 1958. There it is up there. It took, actually, 30 days to sell. 1 month. I paid $25 for it at a flea market. It sold for $70, and the net profit was $42.61. And that was not because of shipping, because it was $25 to ship it. So this is the other as you can see, not as yellow and in better light. Boy Scout patch, the same one from the 70s. It sold for the full price of $70, and again, I paid $35. It took a month to sell, and I made $58.81. So this is a Calico Critters Sylvanian. That's the name of the people that do Calico Critters, by the way. Family red roof country home. It's 2 stories. It's a dollhouse. It lights up. It has light switch inside. It lights up. Yes, it does light up. I didn't even know that. Someone had messaged me, does it light up? And I'm like, it lights up? Because it's battery. Like, I'm like, wait. And that little front, it comes all apart too, like to fit into a box. I paid $5 for it at a yard sale. It sold for $70.01 on a 30% off sale in my store. That was like around Black Friday, I think. And so I made $55.67. But it did take 13 months, and it was in my living room for 13 months because it's huge. But, live and learn. These are Ariat women's paddock boots. They were 10. I picked them up at a yard sale for $5. They sold for 80, and oh no, they sold for $70.40. I made $57.04. They did have some like scuffs on their toes and everything, all that and dings in the leather. I disclosed and took lots of pictures. They took 19 months, but they sold. Shoes move very slowly for me. I know people that make tons of money in shoes and sell them quickly. They do not sell fast for me. And I do clean them up and I do all the things, but they don't sell fast for me. This is a Scandinavian mid-century modern oval Danish magazine rack. It's from the 1970s, which I knew the moment I saw it and I picked it up. It wasn't, there's one that's signed by a very famous architect or designer, and that one's worth a whole lot more money. But this one's still worth $75. I took an offer of $75 on it. I paid $5 for it, so it was a profit of $54.56, and it sold in 4 months. This is a Cabbage Patch doll from 1987. Now, the thing I've learned about dolls, and I collected dolls for a year, but I collected them as a kid. I'm not like super knowledgeable about dolls. But I do know that boy dolls and dolls of color tend to do better in resale. I'm sure there are exceptions to this rule, but I know that boys do better and dolls of color do better generally than white little girls with blonde hair and blue eyes. Sorry. It's just true. Because there's just lots of them out there, and there's less. Anything that there's less of anything is always going to sell for more money and be more desirable because people can't find it. It's just the simplicity of things. And boys' dolls are one of those things. But this guy from 1987, he's a number 17 mold. He had red curly hair, red hair also. Another one of those things. Less of them because there are less children with red hair because it's not a dominant gene. Brown haired dolls don't do as well. Just the way it is. So it's all about those kinds of little things. So I do know that about dolls. So when I picked this up, I think I picked him up and 2 girl dolls. But I listed him first. He had all his clothes. He was in good shape. His hair was a little fuzzy, but it was not bad. And I listed him, and he sold in 72 days for full asking price of $76. I paid 86 cents for him, so my net profit was $66.73. So if you find boy Cabbage dolls, Cabbage Patch that are old, like from the 80s, they're worth the pickup probably, because if you get them for a cheap price, because they will sell for more money. This is a Krosno Poland mid-century modern cobalt blue brown vase. It was kind of round but flat. It had a clear bottom, 7.5 inches. It took 18 months to sell. Another thing, glass, pottery, dishes. Oh, dishes. They take such a long time to sell. So just, you got to have room. If you're going to pick them up, make sure you have room to store them because they're going to take a while to go. This one, I paid $4. It sold for $79.20, and the profit was $65.57. The other thing, if you're picking up glass, be really careful. This, as you can see, is blue, and it is actually blue glass. You will see things that are blue and red and purple that are what they call flash painted. And flash painted glass literally just has like a thin coating of clear color on it to make it look like it's that color glass. It's not. You'll see, if you look at it really carefully in the light, you'll see scratches in it where you can see the clear through the color, which shows you that it's flash painted. So just always be careful, because flash painting is, is around, and beautiful vases are done, but then you look at it and it's flash painted. It's so disappointing. But you're not going to get decent money for flash painted. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, I paid, did I do it? I don't know. But it took 18 months to sell. I paid $4, it sold for $79.20, and I made $65.57. If I repeated myself, I do apologize. So this is something that got donated to my church, because I do sell things for my church. I sell like furniture and stuff on Facebook Marketplace for them locally, and then the things that I can list on eBay, I'll list on eBay because it does bring in a little bit extra money for them. And we're a small church, so every little penny helps to keep the lights on and pay the mortgage, and we appreciate those things. So after profit, after I take, the fees are all that, they get the net profit is donated to them all the time. So this was listed for $80, and it had a net profit of $71.47 that got donated. It sold in less than 30 days, and this is a Bella electric teapot. Now, Bella is not like a great brand. This was like sold at Big Lots and things like that. It's not like the most. It is ceramic, and it did work. And I had to clean it because I think somebody boiled eggs in it. It had that kind of like sulfury, or use sulfury water in it at any rate. So I had to clean it really good. But it worked. It worked well. It boiled the water perfectly. It was very nice. But Bella teapots, especially used ones, don't really sell for a lot of money, especially like $80, except for this one. There's a couple of them that have these weird Aztec-y kind of designs on them. If you find these at like a yard sale for a couple bucks, pick them up, because that particular kind of pattern sold for a lot of money. And it was just luck for the church, but keep an eye out. This is my favorite thing, one of my favorites. I picked this up at, oh my goodness, I think at a yard sale. And it was, this is an average. I paid 63, but I bought a bunch of stuff for I think this might have been the yard sale where I got like a bin full of stuff for $25, and then everything in it was 63 cents at the end of the day when I counted everything out, because that's just how I did it. And this might have been one of those things. I don't remember. I picked it up in the summertime by the looks of it. But it's a Northwood uranium glass goblet Jack in the Pulpit chalice. Okay, that's basically what it is. It sold in 7 days. I don't think I underpriced it. I don't, because I did a lot of research on it, and I tried to price it like at the sweet spot. So I just think I did price it really well, but I might have been able to get more for it, but I might have had to wait longer. It's all, oh, and these kinds of things, sometimes they sell really fast. Sometimes they take a long time to sell because you've overpriced them. So it's very hard to determine. And I do check comps, and I do check multiple, and I do have worth points. So I did do a lot of research, and I listed it for 80, and it sold in 7 days for 80. I paid 63, and it was a net profit of $42.79. Now, I don't know why the profit is low on this. Truly, I don't. Something tells me it might have been another one of those, I didn't charge enough for shipping. It could have been. I don't know, because I honestly don't remember. And I didn't make a note about it. Or I copied something wrong. But it sold for 80, so if you don't screw up the shipping, you would make more money. Anyway, this is there's also, the fees are higher on some things than other things, so I don't know. I don't think it's quite that high. I think there might have been some shipping going on that one too. I'd have to go look. Anyway, this is another Roosevelt's. This is a Top Gun shirt. Goose, Maverick, Planes, Graphic, all the good things. It sold for $64. I paid $8 for it at the St. Vincent de Paul. And it was a net profit of $46.71, and it took 6 months to sell. This one was not nearly as popular as the Star Wars. Big surprise there. All right, this is a Jellycat. Now, not all Jellycat are corrected. I love Jellycat. I will pick up every one. I don't care if it sells for $5 or sells for $500. I'm picking it up because I love Jellycats. Okay, if it was really not selling for a good price, I just would keep it because I think they're wonderful. They're soft and adorable. Anyway, I love Jellycat. So this is an axolotl, and his name is Andy, and he's blue, and he's a retired one, but he still had his tags on him, and that's exciting. And he was 12 inch, and I listed The girl one sells for over 100. I think she's pink. Anyway, but I listed him for the price that I saw he was selling for. I don't think it was quite the highest price, but it was close to the highest price because it was getting near the holidays. And it sold in 15 days for the asking price of $85. I paid $2.62 for him, and it was a net profit of $66.72. So, not all of them will sell for that much money. Most sell for like 15, somewhere around there. But every now and then, you'll find some that sell for more than that. There's, 20, 25 is kind of average too. But, once in a while you get one. And that was a good one. I was excited. So these are Dansk International. Sage song was the pattern. Pasta bowls or soup bowls or salad bowls, depending on one. They were 8 inches. They took 5 months to sell. But this was the second time I think I listed them, because when I initially listed them, they were terrible pictures, and I took new pictures and relisted them. And when I relisted them, they took 5 months to sell, and they sold for $85. I paid $4 for them, so a profit of $61.16. So pictures do matter. This is a set of 20-piece flatware from Cambridge. It's the Carnival is the pattern of them. And I put in there atomic, mid-century, lucite, stainless, all the good things. I listed them for $85, and I had a lot of lowball offers, but I stuck to my guns, and they did take 20 months to sell. I paid $6.49 for them, and they sold for $85, so I made $64.91. This, the surprise thing of the day, is a Calico Critters fish tank. It lights up, the little switch lights up, the little doors open, the little fish, there's a little fish inside, it lights up inside the aquarium. It's pretty cute. It's apparently rare. I have the word rare in there twice. I don't usually do that. And I did a lot of research on it. I was stunned. I listed it for $90. It took 7 months to sell, and it sold for $90. I paid $1 for it, so my profit was $71.73. So toys, I like toys too. Not all toys sell for $90, obviously. This was little too. It was 1/116th dollhouse size, so that's pretty little. It's like matchboxy size. So you never know. You never know. Here's another one, and I did know about this one. This is a 1971 Fisher-Price music box record player. It's number 995, and it has all 5 records, and it worked. It's a wind-up, so sometimes they're overwound. This one worked. The records played. I did put a video in there, and I listed what the songs were. There's 2 songs on each record, one on each side, and they're like nursery rhyme songs, like Mary Had a Little Lamb and things like that. Super cute. Super, super cute. And there are newer versions of it, but this is the older version. I picked it up at a yard sale, and I'm so cheap. I was a little nervous about paying $5 for it. Wasn't sure. When I got home and looked it up and saw, it's listed for like around 100. Well, that could be good. But it took a long time. It took a year to sell. And again, I got a lot of like $30 offers and things like that. And I got people that said, well, it's other people, I'm selling it for $20. Yeah, with 2 records or with the newer version, or like people will try to convince you to lower your price like you don't know what you're doing, and they're completely the the smartest person there. And my response is, I'm always nice. I am always nice, even when people are completely obnoxious. I always try to be nice. So when people do that, like, well, I saw it listed for $25 and blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, my response is, oh, that's a great deal. You should go buy that. That's a great deal. You should buy that. It's probably worth way more than that. I'm not going to tell you that that's not a good deal, but I'm sure there's a reason why you don't want that one and you're coming for mine and asking me to give you the same price. So it's perfectly okay. If it's such a good deal, go buy it. You just have to stand your ground sometimes. So I did stand my ground, even though this took up a lot of space in my storage. By the way, there is an opening in the back for you to put the records in there. So I put it back there, and then I put a piece of painter's tape across it so they wouldn't fall out. When I shipped it as well, I did it that way. So it was net profit of $69.57. This is another thing. I picked it up, and there was a woman behind me that saw me put it in my cart and said, that is such a good find. So I'm going to tell you a little about this find because it's a good find. It wasn't quite the good find I thought it was, but it still was a good find. Okay, so this is a vintage needlepoint Eagle Patriotic E Pluribus Unum antique. The frame was older. So the frame was like an antique frame. The frame, you could tell, was very old. Okay. Therefore, I assumed the picture in it was as old. Turns out the picture in it, that embroidered, wasn't as old as the frame because it was maybe a kit or something. So somebody took something out of that frame and put this in there. So I think the frame drove the price up a little bit because this particular picture sometimes was selling for in the $30, $40 range. But I felt pretty confident with the frame that I could get more money for it. And it was, really pretty. So I listed it for 90 and waited. And I waited 8 months, but it sold for 90 and I made $73.99. Now, with my pictures, I have like a separate, very large bin that I just put all my artwork in. I have a couple pieces of artwork that are really, really big that are not going in there. But this was one of those. But if you're going to do art, you need to be careful about storing it. It can't get wet. You don't want moisture near it and things like that. You don't want anywhere where it could get mildew, especially things like that are open and embroidered, and bugs. You want to make sure you don't have moths or things that are going to eat at it. So those are all things to consider if you're going to do art. Make sure you have them in something that'll keep vermin away from them and keep moisture away from them. This is also a needlepoint. It is framed. It is in glass. It's more 1970-ish, 80-ish. It's like I put needlepoint, petapoint. I had it listed for 100. I took an offer of 90. I paid 7 for it, so the profit was 75.87, and it only took 60 days to sell, which surprised me, but that was great. So this is so funny. These pictures are terrible. You see how terrible these? I literally had just taken this out and taken new pictures to take it down and relist it because these pictures were so bad, and this was such a nice piece. It was a Nike Air Jordan silver and white full zippered hooded jacket in a 3X, and it was in excellent condition, which you cannot tell from this picture at all. But again, this is what I had when I had it. So I took it out and I have now like a body form thing, and I took all the pictures, and I was, hadn't got them listed yet. And in the time between when I took the pictures and before I got it relisted, it sold with these pictures for $92.89. I paid $6 for it, so the profit was $73.81. But because it had terrible pictures, it took over 2 years to sell. So there's that. Always take good pictures, or try to. So this couldn't be taken in my box because he's big. And this was an E&J vintage lifelike Doberman Pinscher plush dog. He had his tag still. I had him listed for $115. He sold for $97 in 6 days. And the only reason I took the offer in 6 days at $97 was because he was huge. And, well, he was huge, but he was like 2 feet, a little over 2 feet tall. And I had nowhere to put him. And he was sitting in my living room next to my chair, scaring my husband every time he walked out of my office. No, he liked him. So after fees and everything, I made $79.29. But I just thought that was funny. Anyway, this is an Eldredge Pottery crock. It's a salt glaze, hand thrown, Pennsylvania, strawberries on it, 1993. It was dated on the bottom. It sold for $100.01. I paid $4 for it at a yard sale, and I made $83.10. I actually bought a lot of pottery at this yard sale, all for $4 a piece. So I still probably have some of these left around, but this was one of the first ones that sold, and it took 9 months. So it didn't sell fast, but it sold. So this is a geranium, lavender, Spanish geranium soap. It cut off a little bit at the top here. And as you can see, Alexandra bought it. And she bought several things from me. Thank you, Alexandra. And this is all part of that soap buyout I bought. I bought a bunch of soap from a yard sale. So this one, they're like 30 cents each. She bought 2 for $112, and it was a net profit of $86.80. Took 7 months to sell. I've been in the profit on these just about from the first week, because I think I paid $10 for 2 totes. So um, it's been, I had my $10 back the first sale. So everything now is all profit, 100%. Even though I'm paying fees, it's still 100% profit to me. So this is vintage Yucatan Bay suit. It's leather. It's a snakeskin. It's 2 pieces, a jacket and a skirt. It was a size 4. I got it for $1 at the rummage sale at the church because it was they were asking $5 for it. I asked them to hold it for me on the first day of the sale, and I forgot it when I left. And I thought, oh well, when I go back tomorrow, hopefully they'll still have it. And they were doing fill a bag for $5, and they had it. So I put that in my bag and a few other things, and so it ended up costing me $1 instead of 5. And it's over 120, and it's $102.16, and it took 6 months to sell. This is a Fenton pineapple fairy lamp with a brass base. It's vintage, of course, and it's so cute. And it took 15 months to sell, which I'm really surprised because it was so pretty. But it did sell for $120. I paid $3 for it, so it was a $101 profit. This is a vintage Disney classic Pooh baby blanket. It's got his honey pot. There's a couple different versions of this blanket, and it has a satin edge. Now, my daughter had this exact same baby blanket, and hers has a little stain on it. So I did offer to put this aside for her so she could have it when there comes a time that she has children. She's living. She has a boyfriend right now, and hopefully they're going to get married, and hopefully they'll have kids, and we'll see. But she said no, it's okay. If it was worth anything, I should sell it. So when I looked it up, it was worth quite a lot, and I told her, and she said I should definitely sell it. So I did. So I paid $1 for it. It sold for $150, and I made $125.56, and it took less than 60 days to sell at that price, which is crazy. And this is the best sale of the year. This is a Ralph Lauren pencil stripe purple tagged 17.5 collar made in Italy shirt. And I was very excited because it had purple tags. The purple tags are the couture Ralph Lauren brand. So if you see a purple tag, definitely look it up. It's probably worth a pickup if you're not paying too much for it. I did pay $8 for the shirt. And then I got home and realized I had French cuffs. Now, for those that don't know, French cuffs are cuffs that don't have buttons on them. You have to wear a cuff link with them. And I thought that was going to be the worst thing ever. But turns out, not so much. This particular kind of shirt sells for quite a lot of money. So I listed it for the money that it had fetched in the past. And it sold for $150.01. The 1 penny is just a sale going on and off, and it rounding different, by the way, just in case you wonder why I'm putting pennies on things. I don't. The computer does it. And so I made $119.95, but it did take a year to sell because clothing just moves incredibly slow for me. But that's it. I do believe that's the end of it. That's the end of it. So that is all the sales that were like the higher sales for me for this year. Like I said, it was nothing crazy, but there were some really good sales and there were some interesting things that sold. And I wanted to give you just a sense of how long some things do take to sell. Like lots of times the things that are selling for the big money are not selling for big money really fast. The Pooh blanket is an exception. The year is more the reality. So if you're looking to do reselling or you're thinking about doing reselling, it's really important to understand the concept of what is called a sell-through rate. And that's when from the time you buy it to the time you list it, how long it's going to take to sell. And you can usually tell that by how many are listed versus how many have sold. So if there's none listed and 50 sold, that's pretty good because that means yours is going to be the only one listed and you can price it up because there are none available right now. So you always look up the solds and how much it's selling for, but then look and see how many are listed by comparison. You want that number to be the same. You want it like that's 100%, it's going to sell in 90 days, or you want the solds to be higher than what is listed. The more high compared to what is listed, the better. If there's 100 listed and 500 sold, it's going to sell very fast. So always just keep an eye on that, and that will guide you to moving things quickly if you don't have a lot of space. And there's things that always sell consistently quickly. There's things that always sell consistently but not quickly. So you just kind of, I've learned from watching other people, but I've also learned that a lot of what other people tell you isn't always factual. It may work for them. There's a lot of people out there that are selling like jeans or t-shirts or things like that very fast, and they just have a big turnaround, and that is what their niche is, and people come to them specifically for that. So they are moving things much quicker. And if you're doing multi things like me, then that may, you may not see it move that quickly. And there's lots of other things that go into it. Plus, there are people out there that are quote unquote resellers that are not. They're just simply YouTubers that used to resell, but that now get most of their income from YouTube. So therefore, they're not really into the present trends. I mean, they might look things up and do videos about them, but they're much more into their YouTube. Their YouTube pays the bills more than their reselling does. So you gotta pay attention to that. And then there's people out there that are resellers that have moved on to doing reselling on auction platforms like Whatnot or District, because they can move cargo, they can move things much faster, but they're taking a much lower rate for it. So therefore, they're buying things. They're doing storage units and things like that, so they can move it faster. And I'm not going to ever be a storage unit girl because my brain works like this. Someone is making me pay to clean out somebody else's trash from a storage unit. And that's really how I look at it. I understand there may be some things of value in there, but most of it's going to be not valuable to me. You know what I mean? And the idea of going through all this icky, stinky crap that's been in somebody's storage unit for years, in the hopes of finding like some gold or some, it's great if you find like Adidas sneakers, but all the time you see them just opening empty boxes, and like there's bits and pieces sprinkled here and there, and like empty lock boxes and stuff. Yeah, sure, it's a treasure hunt. Sometimes you'll find. I love a treasure hunt. Don't get me wrong. It's the cleaning up, the dirt and the crud and the cleaning. I'm not a germaphobe either, but that it skeeves me out to even think about like opening a tote and smelling like old people, like body odor, not washed, mildewy. Oh God, it would be awful. I couldn't even stand it. People have to have strong stomachs for that job. So, anyway, I prefer to do this. And look, don't get me wrong. I've been to shops that sell things that don't smell nice, and it's gross. But I couldn't do a whole storage unit of that and then have to clean it all out and get rid of all that trash, and it's a process. It wouldn't be worth it to me, but it's fun to watch other people do it, I have to admit. So anyway, this is it for me for the end of 2025. Now there will be some stuff that I picked up in 2025 because I'm still way behind on my haul videos, so you'll still be seeing stuff that's being listed and stuff like that. I got a couple hauls that I picked up for 2026, and then I'm kind of slowing down on the hauls right now a little bit because I do have stuff to list. I have a lot of stuff I have to get listed, and I am focusing more on my other business right now for 2026 because I really have a lot of things I have to get done for that. And there's a lot of changes coming for that business, and that's got to be my priority this year, and probably the next couple years. So you'll be seeing some different things coming out in the coming year for this, and but I still hope you'll tune in and check it out, share it with your friends. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you can leave a comment in the chat, I do check the chats periodically. Please give me grace because I am not a social media girl. I'm not on there all the time. I just have too many things to do, but I do see them and I do read them, and I will eventually comment back and thank you or whatever. So just be patient with me, and subscribe, because then you'll know when I put my stuff up again, because I do it usually on Wednesdays, but I have been doing a little more lately, so you'll see them, and then you can also see old stuff that I did and kind of go look at that. You can see some comparisons of stuff I used to pick up and stuff I pick up now, because there's a lot, things change and trends change, and I've changed and I've learned things over the years, so you can learn with me about the things I've learned and I haven't learned. I haven't learned to be a little bit more careful about the pricing of the shipping rate. double checking that. Like I get in a zone and I'm going quickly and occasionally I mess up. So I haven't messed up lately because I've been trying to be real careful about that. but yeah, but you learn from your mistakes. So mistakes are inevitable and we all learn from them. It's okay. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day and I wish you all the blessings and love so much. And I will catch you on the next one. Bye bye.